So another video about what's been going on in the Tory party. But to be honest, the last video I did about this literally was released yesterday, and I filmed that Saturday morning, roughly around a similar time that I'm filming this now. But this will come out later on a Sunday. And there has been more action. There have been more Tory MPs speaking out. There is now at least a reckoning, or at least a rough estimate to how many letters they suggest might be out in there, the 1922 committee. So things could be behind the scenes, be moving a lot faster than at least they seem to be at the moment. Because if you look at it on the top and you haven't been sort of listening to like Conservative MPs, there just seems to be a complete inaction. But the reality is that there has been a lot of action behind the scenes. And there's something I want to address here. And it's Phil. Unfortunately, it's Phil. Again, people are going to accuse me of starting drama, but I'm not starting drama. This is legitimate criticism of something he has said. He recently did a video about claiming that Boris Johnson could start a constitutional crisis by essentially, after losing a vote of no confidence, just refusing to go. That literally cannot happen. That literally cannot happen. There are rules in place within the Conservative Party for their rules and own conduct of regulations for what should happen. Take, for example, the most recent example being the Wakefield guy, Imran Khan, who obviously, after being found guilty, basically refused to resign. His own local Conservative Party, CLP, started actions in order to be able to remove him. However, he resigned shortly after they started actions to remove him. And obviously, this was even pre-prepared because the National Conservative Party wanted to start action, but their local Conservative Party beat them to it. So even if Johnson did sort of say, well, I've lost a vote of no confidence, but I'm not going anywhere, no, there are rules and regulations within the Conservative Party to stop that kind of thing, reaching out to the full point where the Conservative Party could ask Lindsay Hoyle, using the Sergeant of Arms, to permanently block Boris Johnson, not only from the chamber, but even from the Commons. You know, there are rules and regulations in and around this. And to be honest, I think I've said, spreading around that theory is bad, because, again, it gives this idea of British politics that there aren't these rules and regulations in place when there actually are. I just think that was a really bad take from Phil, and essentially to dedicate an entire video to it wasn't very good. But anyway, moving on from that. What has been going on in the past, literally, 24 hours? Well, more Tories have spoken out, and we're going to find out just how strongly worded some of these Tories really are speaking out about this. So, as always, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a more donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee, where, you can help support this channel. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and of course, the YouTube subscription button as well, where you can help support the channel from that and you get rewards from that. And of course, the YouTube thank you button as well. So, on with this. This comes from The Guardian. The title of Boris Johnson is trashing the Tory identity, party grandees warn. And this is something that has been going on for quite a while. The idea that a lot of Tories have been very, very upset with the way that Boris Johnson has been acting. And this is a long a period ago. Constantly, saying he's going to spend money. And then, of course, we've seen in, the Levelling Up report, him not spend money, which is again causing friction between sort of the Red Wall MPs and other factions within the party. So, as we've said multiple times before, there are ideological conflicts within the Tory party that are going to cause huge problems. But anyway, let's continue on with this. So, Boris Johnson has plunged the Conservative Party into an acute identity crisis as a result of Partygate and U-turns over tax policy, senior Tories have warned last night, as more MPs have called on him to resign as Prime Minister. Former Tory leader Ian Duncan Smith told The Observer his party has been left with an enormous identity problem because it has raised taxes instead of cutting them under Johnson and the Chancellor Rishi Sunak, undermining a core Tory message that helped win successive general elections. Doubts about Johnson's ability to be able to survive as Prime Minister and fears that the Tories are now on a terminal electoral slide grew as the party grandees Sir Bob Neill and a combination of collapsing trust in the Prime Minister, coupled with a lack of clarity over what the Conservatives stood for, had created a toxic mix in the mind of voters. Neill called on Friday for Johnson to go. And yesterday, two more MPs, former Health Minister Steve Bryan and Anne-Marie Morris, said that they had also lost confidence in Johnson, taking the total to have gone public to at least 24. Several others are also have written letters of no confidence to the 1922 committee chair, Sir Graham Bradley, without going public, and more have privately indicated they will do so. If 54 or more Tory MPs submit a letter to Bradley, a leadership contest will be triggered. Well, it's not the leadership contest, it's the vote of no confidence first. So I reckon we are in the 40s, said one Rebel MP. Another added, we're just a few off. And remember, last time this happened, they were saying the exact same thing. They were reckoning that they were about 4 letters off. So I think given this, given the U-turn, given the amount of anger that Tory MPs are receiving, not only just from their constituents, but even their own local Conservative parties being absolutely fuming over the fact that on local elections, they were felt that they had been sacrificed for Johnson, is absolutely, insane. But there you go. This is it now. The anger against Boris Johnson, as I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, whenever Conservatives come out and say, "Oh, there's no anger, we just need to move on and it'll be fine. The public will forget about this." No, they won't. The anger out there is very, very real. So, on Thursday and Friday, there was a mood of relief bordering on jubilation in Downing Street as Johnson and his team believed they had survived the publication of the damning report on Partygate by the senior civil servant Sue Gray, and then switched focus on measures to try and address the cost of living crisis on Thursday. With a £15 billion package of measures announced by Sunak that was broadly welcomed, many Tories were unhappy of what the government had funded part of it by performing a massive U-turn, which it saw in adopt Labour's plan for a windfall tax on the profits of oil and gas companies. Duncan Smith said that the imposing of tax rises on business, Sunak should have instead cut taxes for the middle and lower class to try and restore the Tory reputation as a lower tax party. He had the headroom not to do a windfall tax. Getting growth going is the priority. We have to avoid recession, and to do that, we have to lower taxes and get people spending. Again, a Tory trapped in his ideology. Lower taxes, lower taxes, lower taxes. If we lower taxes, somehow that gets things working again. Not all the time. Conservatives believe in lower taxes, leaving people with more in their own money because they make the best choices. Unless we get back to this approach, cutting taxes in the autumn budget, we are in real trouble. The Tories, he said, now risk earning a reputation for being a high-tax, big state party, having also raised national insurance in breach of a manifesto commitment. I just don't think that we have. I don't think just think that we have a bit of identity problem. We have a massive identity problem, he said. Gavin Bredwell, the former Tory MP who served as Theresa May's chief of staff, said in number 10 that the party's electoral prospects under Johnson were grim. By our failing to take action against the Prime Minister, approximately 60% of the public think he should resign. Conservative MPs are sleepwalking to defeat at the next election. The latest opinion poll from The Observer finds that at least 56% of all voters, including 32% of the 2019 Tory voters, believe that Johnson should resign. The poll was conducted after the publication of the Gray Report. And like I say, I've seen others, there are others floating around there, of that being well within 60, 70% territory. So, yeah, there are a lot of people out there who are saying, yeah, the Prime Minister should resign. He should be gotten rid of. Oliver Held, the Tory MP for North East Oxfordshire, told constituents that he was talking with fellow MPs about what happens next. He added, I think it will take at least 2 to 3 weeks to know the answer. Key by-elections in Wakefield and Talbotton and Halkerton are placed within those 3 weeks. And the former Cabinet Minister, Robert Buckland, said on Saturday that changes will have to be made if the party suffers heavy defeats. As I've been saying for the past couple of weeks now, Wakefield in particular, very, very important by-election, especially for Labour. Tiverton has to go to Lib Dem. So as I've said before, if you live in Wakefield, vote Labour. If you live in Tiverton and Houghton, vote Lib Dem, especially if you want to really give Johnson a black eye. So the Liberal Democrats say that many of those calling for Johnson to resign are in Tory seats that they are targeting. Conservative MPs who spent months defending Boris Johnson over Partygate are now finally acting because they're worried about losing their seats, said the Deputy Leader, Daisy Cooper. This by-election in Tiverton and Houghton is a chance to send a clear message that people won't stand for Johnson's lies and law-breaking and that he has to go. If we can go overturn the huge Tory majority, the trickle of letters of no confidence in the Prime Minister could turn into a flood. Johnson has caused further astonishment on Friday, just 2 days after declaring himself to have been humbled by the Grey Report, when it was announced that he had rewritten parts of the Ministerial Code so that ministers no longer had to resign for minor breaches. He's also removed a section of the code which refers to ethics. Labour on Saturday announced that it would hold an opposition day debate in which the party would pledge to strengthen the code. I think that's good. I don't think they should just do that. I think they should generally put out a vote on this. Like, I think that's as far as they should go, and just put it to a vote and just go, look at all these Tories voting for rule breaking. What an absolute political win for Labour. In a further potential blow, in a further potential blow to Sunak, doubts are now being raised this weekend about whether the windfall tax will raise anywhere near the £5 billion the Chancellor claimed it would on Thursday. The left of centre Commonwealth think tank said that he may raise only a fraction of that sum because of the complex rules which allow investments to be offset against profits. The warning comes after Liberal Democrats said that delays to the tax introduction meant that he missed out on the $3 billion from the extraordinary profits reported by oil and gas firms in 2021 and another £8 billion so far this year. And again, that is down to the Conservatives basically just not acting. As we've said before, on Saturday on the Good Morning Walk, when we were doing this, it's too little too late. They've missed out on hundreds of thousands of pounds. And the other thing, of course, where you had a Tory MP stand up and say, oh, this is just giving red meat to the socialists. Hold on, my friend. Margaret Thatcher, of all people, not only did a windfall tax herself on oil companies, but also did a windfall tax on high street banks back in the 80s. So this isn't the first time the Conservatives have done a windfall tax. So, as always, there are things going on in the Tory party, and it is well worth paying attention to what is going on. There is the rumours of a trickle. The potential by-elections coming up again within the next 3 weeks are massive and massively important. So, as I always repeat, if you are in Wakefield, get out there, vote for Labour, get people out. If you know the people out there, get them motivated out and get them go out to vote for Labour as well. Massively, massively important. Same found for Lib Dems down in Tilton. Can't stress how just important that is, especially if you really want to get rid of Johnson, then get out there, get motivated, and remember, go out there and vote, because if you want to get rid of Johnson, basically Labour and the Lib Dems winning in those two by-elections are going to be massive. and send ripples through, because the Tories are already not happy. If they lose those 2 seats, they're going to be even less happy about this. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and an organizational link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you all next time.